5:28. Garmin time, 5:28.
That makes it official.
I guess so. I know. Ooh, that was easy. Here's Brew, big boy.
That's used to Brenda's height.
Are you ready, John?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are we close enough?
Close enough for me.
Okay. Good afternoon. Have your attention, please. Everybody, please rise, and Ms. Blackman's going to lead us in our prayer and then the pledge allegiance.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening, Lord, to just thank you, Lord, for all your blessings and mercies that you continue to shower upon us, Lord. We just be mindful of those, Lord, that are with us this evening as we go about making decisions of our school district, Father. And Lord, just keep us, remind us to keep with those that are contributing and working with our children, Father. Each position is so very important and critical. Each person that the children pass in the hallways, each person that they encounter, even in the slightest way, Father, we know that you are with them and guiding them and helping to support our community as we come together in partnerships, Father. We just continue to honor you and praise your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have this one. Thank you, Ms. Blackman. At this time, we'll call this meeting.
Still not on. Oh, there you are.
Call this meeting to order. Roll call of members. We have Ms. Howerton, Ms. Compton-Twist, Mr. Durrance, Deputy Superintendent Andrew Lethridge, in for Dr. Longshore, Mr. John McClure, our school board attorney, and our school board secretary, Ms. Marlene Welborn, who should be right back. Character word of the month is kindness, and that's presented by Highlands Virtual School with Principal Kim Riley.
It's always exciting to have a moment to showcase our virtual students. We do things a little differently at Highlands Virtual School. I'll let Mrs. Gooch tell you a little bit about our presentation.
Hi, Erin Googe, Assistant Principal at Highlands Virtual. And as you can see, there's no students present because our students do not report to campus every single day. So we just wanted to, we had our students that joined us virtually, and they have recorded a little video for you showing what they experience every day and how they have learned about kindness at Highlands Virtual.
There's sound.
There's volume.
I was gonna say, is there sound?
This is just going to be a watch.
Welcome to HBS.
We may not enter a school building each day, but we do enter our teachers' classrooms. We learn and collaborate together. Here are some ways we see kindness each day at HBS.
At HVS, kindness to me looks like the teachers helping me out as soon as I ask them for it.
I'm able to meet my teachers and they take time to clear their schedule for us. It's really kind.
Teachers go out of their way to be able to have meetings with their students to help them better understand the topic at hand.
Kindness looks to me like friends, older students helping younger students, kids who need help with their work, teachers are there for them.
My teachers have all been very kind to me. They want us to know the importance of responsibility. They have taken the time to help me in Google Meets when I don't understand the work. They always care about the student's opinion, and they work to make work fun and engaging.
Here are some of our students showing us how they show kindness each day. Thank you for visiting HVS.
Thank you very much. Very entertaining. Let's see, we'll move on. School board member committee reports? No. Petitions, anything, Ms. Welborn?
No, ma'am.
Okay. We'll move to Mr. Lethbridge for the superintendent's report.
Dr. Longshore definitely sends her regrets. It's rare for her to miss a meeting as they're very important. She did have a viewing that she was going to this evening, and then she's headed after that point to a superintendent's meeting out of town. First and foremost, we are very excited to have the Avon Park High School Choir here. So if Joy Loomis could come on up, and we're ready to see this presentation.
Go out there, Wednesday, or are they gonna?
Yeah, should we go out that way?
Thank you very much. You can stay where you are if you'd like. They're gonna sing in the surround sound for you. So just to give you some background, though, several years ago, our school became connected with the Festival Singers of Florida out of Orlando, and that's where I first experienced the song that you're going to hear today. Dr. Kevin Fenton, who's the director of the Festival Singers of Florida, in collaboration with the Nairobi Chamber Chorus out of Africa, have created a global peace initiative called A Voice for Peace. You can find more information about this at their website, avoice4peace.org. This project encourages choirs all over the world of all types, whether it's a church, an elementary school, a high school, or a college, to engage in one day of the year, September 21st. I just thought, Dr. Longshore, how can I miss it if there's a school board meeting on the International Day of Peace, which the UN has designated as September 21st, to talk and to sing about peace. So the song you're going to hear is a Zulu hymn called Ukutula, which means peace. And it roughly translates, the students are going to show you the hand symbols so that you'll know what each word translates to. In this world of sin, the blood of Jesus brings peace, redemption, gratefulness, faith, victory, and you're going to hear an African click in that word, ukuoba, and comfort. On the website, you can see videos of African refugees learning by the Nairobi Chamber Chorus in collaboration with the Festival Singers of Florida right here in Orlando. They learned the song. You can see them learning the song and then singing it. And when you see refugees who have been displaced from war and violence singing the words redemption and victory and comfort, it's very powerful. So we've had a lot of fun diving into the meaning behind this song and looking at the website and doing lots of activities related to peace. And we've experienced the unity that music can bring. So we hope that in the next few minutes you will be able to connect with your inner desire for harmony and peace. This is Ukutula, sung by the Avon Park High School Show Choir, and our caller today is Senior Ariel Bethay.
Very good. Excuse me, can y'all come back and introduce yourselves? You're not done yet. Ladies and gentlemen, that was excellent.
Beautiful.
Oh, anytime, that was beautiful. If you could go around and please introduce yourself and tell us maybe what grade you're in? much for coming out.
If I could make a motion, I'd cancel the rest of the meeting.
I
and
know.
they would just
Can't
stay
follow
and
that,
sit.
that's the key, can't follow it.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
All right, moving on with the announcements. Brenda really wanted to just send appreciation to John McClure for crafting the letter. We know that we've had issues with the sales tax and really wanting the buses to be included, and he spent a lot of time crafting a letter that she is bringing to the superintendent's meeting that I spoke about, and hopefully we can get some other counties involved. There's quite a few other counties that have sales tax. I think 31 was the total. So hopefully by working together, we could get a little bit of flexibility there and to be able to spend some of the half-cent sales tax funds on transportation with buses. So thank you for your time that you put into that endeavor.
It's my job.
Well, you do it well.
You do a good job, yeah.
So next, we are going to go over the stock take review. So we have 5 different goals for our stock take, and we review one goal each month. And then at the end of those 5 months, on the 6th month, we have an all-goal stock take. So we will be presenting. Goal 1 starts with curriculum. So they will come up first and begin this presentation, and we'll just work through all 5. And if there's any questions that the board has, definitely feel free to chime in and ask.
Hi there, I'm Carrie Connor, the Assistant Superintendent of Elementary. Kind of new to this, so no judgment. So we are Goal 1, and our focus is academic success. So we have 3 main strategies, and we have leads for those. It's using standards-aligned curriculum in all core classrooms, support educators in core subjects to provide effective instruction, and then implementing a collaborative framework, which is the PLC model. And our big goal is to accelerate everyone's academic achievement. Okay, that's my watch speaking. Sorry about that. I'm making a grand entrance tonight, let me tell you. Anyway, so our leads for these strategies are Tina Starling, Jen Reeser, and Danielle Lilpop. So as I was saying, accelerate academic achievement for all learners, regardless of where they are, and that's really what we focused on. We have metrics for our goal, and we refine these to align with accelerating achievement to look at the percent of students demonstrating growth, which would be learning gains on the FSA ELA, from 48 to 56 by the 21-22 school year. So when you see our data in a minute, you can see that we still have a lot of work to do, but we're excited about the work that we're engaged in. And then we're also wanting to increase the percent of students demonstrating growth, which would be learning gains on the FSA math, from 50 to 58%. And then as far as science goes in civics and social studies, their measure is proficiency. So we want to increase proficiency overall from 50 to 58%. And then proficiency for EOC civics and U.S. history from 60 to 68%. So we've done a lot of work in those areas, and we're excited about that. And we have some data to share with you.
So this is our current heat map for our we recently did a stock take. So it's us assessing as a Goal 1 team how we are progressing towards our goals. So here is a comparison from the last all-go stock take to this current one, and you'll see we have improvement. The next slide will talk about some data that I'm sharing with you on the slide. It's kind of hard to see everything on one. So we have work to do because, again, this is the year that we're supposed to meet our metrics, but we do. I don't want to say we feel good. It's more than hope. We actually have things in place to support student growth. We really have some traction with PLC. We have traction with expectation regarding effective instruction. We have traction with instructional coaching to develop our teachers for the purpose of helping our students see growth. So there are a lot of things in place, and we do feel strongly that this is the year that we just need to actually do the work, right? So we're excited that some of our numbers with regard to COVID and teachers and students returning and not as many kids being out, so that we can really jump into this work. So we're happy, we're focused.
We're just gonna be able to take out that acronym FSAA?
Yeah, at some point.
Yes.
Yes, at some point, yes.
That was good news from the governor, and so.
Yeah.
And Brenda was sharing that the commissioner will be at her superintendent's meeting Thursday, and maybe give us a little information of how all that's gonna come about.
Yep.
So looking forward to an update there.
All right.
Thank you.
Good evening, Melissa Blackman, Assistant Superintendent Student Support Services, and I lead Goal 2. And Goal 2 for our district strategic plan is development of the whole child. And so what we focus on is ensuring that the environment and that when students come to school, that their mental and physical needs are being met. We know that Goal 1's going to work on highly effective strategies and instruction for our students, and in order for that, the students to benefit from that, we need them in the seats, and we need them attending to that instruction. So we have 3 main strategies. The first is our mentorship program, and Candace Dean is the lead for that. The second is our building our staff capacity to be able to support the whole child, and the third is the initiative with our Handle with Care. I'll show you a couple of metrics. So again, we are looking at 21-22, which is, wow, this school year, as to be where we wanted to be. The little visual map graph here shows us that we started at, as far as mentors. Oh, this is the one we want to look at, that how often students are in school. So our goal is for students to be in the seats 90% of their enrolled time. We began in 18-19 with 77% of our students attending at least 90% of the time, and we all know what has happened with attendance over the last couple of years. And so I'll tell you, we ended 2021 school year with 71% of our students attending 90% of the time. So a couple of things that are on the radar for that. Just recently at our last principals meeting, our school social workers worked very diligent to put together some procedural processes in reviewing attendance practices and strategies into monitoring that at the school sites. And they're working very closely with each school site in that attendance review process. We also used some of our funds from our SR2 funds that came down to us to hire positions that we call attendance liaisons. And those individuals work side by side with their school social workers, so they're out looking for the students we thought were supposed to be but didn't show up at the door. They're out reaching out to the families of the students who aren't attending at 90% to say, what are the barriers, what's going on in your life, and how can we help you, because regular school attendance is so critical for them. So lots of things happening to help increase that and support that. And thankful for some of the additional funding to be able to have those positions to work that. The next is we look at exclusionary discipline, and we define exclusionary discipline for students who have had an out-of-school suspension or an expulsion. And we have relatively high rates of that, and that's one that we have, that didn't come out right. We have high rates of students who have not had an exclusionary discipline of that. So we started with 93%, and our goal was to get to 95. And at the end of the 2021 school year, we had 94% of our students. So that's a large number of our students that are not receiving an out-of-school suspension or an expulsion. And then the third is our mentor program. In the mentor program, our goal is to reach to 200, and at the end of the 2021 school year, we had about 78 that were active, and about 10 of those mentors said, we want to continue to be active, but we called it a little bit of a COVID pause, and so we're going to pause for just a minute. That team has really been working under the leadership of Candace Dean and Diane Albritton to really put some procedures in place, reach out to those individuals, and do some more
focused recruiting, and are willing to go anywhere. So if you have a group that you want them to be in front of to talk about the benefits of mentoring and how to get connected, they'll be happy to do that. So this is our heat map at this time. The one that we have had the most movement on is our Handle with Care program. That was from the ground beginning of really letting anyone who comes in connection with a student know, hey, handle this child with care because something traumatic has happened in that child's life. Most of those reports come from some form of a law enforcement kind of encounter. Doesn't have to be criminal, but it could have been a tragic accident or those types of things. We expanded that to even school-based staff. If they know events that are happening in the lives of our students, we put an indicator on, and that gives just the individuals that encounter with those students just to, hey, handle that child with care today. Just for numbers, during the 2021 school year, we had 312 events, which involved 286 students that had a Handle with Care indicator. And so far this school year, we've had 50 events reported and about 34 students that have been on a Handle with Care. In the building staff capacity, that had a lot of training components, and two major initiatives were the first, we had some legislative requirements to do training in mental health awareness for our staff. And this, just from the July 1 date to the start of school, about the first couple of weeks of school, we trained over 233 staff. So we're just about past the 1,000 staff member training and taking that. It's a full 6-hour training that really gives staff the awareness of what to do when you encounter really youth, but really any individual that may be experiencing some mental health and how to connect them to the correct resources. And the last training that we had most recently in August was we also legislatively had the requirement to train in the state threat assessment model. And so we had Tracy Sampson from the Office of Safe Schools here, ensuring that each one of our staff members that serve on a school threat assessment team has that full training. This is a comparison. And so you see we had a little bit of a dip there, but we're working really hard to get those procedures in place and those initiatives moving forward again. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Hello, I'm Carla Ball, Director of HR, and I'm the lead for Goal 3. Our goal is to recruit and retain high-quality staff that will have a direct impact on positive student achievement and staff morale. We also know that continuity of staff and positive fiscal practices will provide support to the development of the whole child, which helps to support Goal 2. And in order to recruit and retain, we've asked ourselves, what can we do? So our strategies are to enhance the instructional salary schedule, which is led by Andrew Lethbridge, strengthen diverse recruitment practices, which is led by myself and Karen Edsel, one of the assistant principals at Avon Park High School, and to improve staff retainment, which is led by Annie Geddes in HR. So when we look at our metrics, our first is to increase the percentage of positions filled with in-field certified teachers from 86.5% from school year 17-18 to 91% by the end of the school year. We had 90% in-field and certified at the end of 2021, and we are currently looking at that data now and trying and pulling that, so we hope to have that for you soon. We were at 45 long-term subs last year, and we're down to 36, so we are making progress, and we feel like we are moving towards the direction we need to move. And a lot of that is in place because of flexibility from the state, and we also have Tiffany McCall in our HR department who is in constant contact with teachers and their administration with the needs that they need for certification purposes. Another metric is to increase the percentage of non-retiring effective teachers staying in the district year to year from 88% in 17-18 to 91% by the end of this year. We have had a drop. We went from 95.5% in 19-20 with 34 resignations to 88% at the end of the 2021 school year with 70 resignations. And those resignations range from people looking to move out of state, move out of county, pursuing a higher degree, Some are going to work in the family business. Some are just looking to change out of the education field. And then we have added a third metric that was added at the end of the year. We're still pulling data, but we're looking to close the gap between the instructional demographics compared to student demographics. So we want our students to be able to see themselves in their teachers. So we want to see, that equality within our teaching staff and our student population. This is a comparison of our heat map and from March of 21 to the end of May. And you'll see that with strengthening diverse recruitment practices, we made growth, and we attribute some of that to our teacher pathway programs that we've incorporated at each of our high schools. We currently have 111 students enrolled in those programs. So, we're excited about growing our own, and we hope to see that fruition come to play. It'll take a little bit, but we're hoping to have them sitting in our schools teaching one day. We also hosted 2 virtual recruitment fairs this summer and participated in some online recruitment fairs. So we've hired over 108 teachers for this current school year. With improving staff retention, you will see on our heat map that we did drop, and a lot of that has to do with the 70 resignations that we had last year. So we're working on some strategies, to hopefully, we want to keep people in place. And we're also looking at revising our exit survey so that we can get more input on strategies we can implement to keep our people here. And then this aligns with our strategy A, which is enhancing the instructional salary. You'll see when we first started back in 15-16, our gap between the average teacher salary in our district and the state average was around $5,000. We ended last year with the difference being just under $1,200. So we have started closing that gap, and we hope to continue to move in that direction. And then this chart just gives you some trend data for retention. It shows you our resignations, retirements, and non-renewals. The blue graph shows in 18-19, we were at 68 resignations. We dropped that to 34, but this past year we were at 70. And then with our retirements, it's remained pretty constant. We were at 23 in 18-19, 21 in 19-20, and 21 in 2021. And then with non-renewals, that one has also stayed pretty consistent, dropped a little bit. We were at 14 non-renewals in 18-19, 12 in 19-20, and then 11 in 2021. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Darrell Layfield. I'm the Goal 4 leader. We have various people on our committee. We have John Verity, Isaac Durrance, myself, Mr. Ballinger, and we picked up Ms. Vermilli from Sun Lake, Mr. Kokelschatz from Cracker Trail, and Mr. Ridgway from Sebring High. So it's kind of neat to watch that happen. Basically, our goal is centered around communication. And basically what it comes down to is we want a clear, consistent message going out to all of our stakeholders. And we want that to come from the district office as well as from the schools. So we try to model for the schools, and the schools do very well on their social media and different avenues using the Skyward messaging system and using Blackboard to keep that message going and for it to be clear and consistent. The other one that is a little bit more of a struggle is to try to get information back from our stakeholders. And so we do that in different formats. Obviously, Facebook is a big one. When we get those comments on Facebook, we added a new product called Let's Talk. Hopefully you saw an advertisement for that either on Facebook. I think there was actually a newspaper article on Let's Talk. So we do multiple surveys, and Dr. Longshore holds student council meetings. Student council is not the correct term, but it's a student organization, teacher of the year organization, and support related employee meetings. Just trying to let everybody know that they have a voice, and we want to hear their voice. Our metrics are, the big 2 metrics that we have are responses from parents on surveys And I actually had Ms. Welborn send you an email with the latest survey data. It gets very cluttered trying to get it on a slide. Some other of my cohorts put in, gave you handouts because it gets kind of cluttered. So I encourage you to look there. And then another one of our big metrics is what we design a district perception survey. And what we're trying to do there is we're trying to get that information coming back from parents and from our own employees on where can we do better, what do we need to do? So that district perception survey, actually, the parent and district perception, they've changed in the course of the strategic plan where we've changed our questions a little bit, trying to get, sometimes you have to ask a better question to get an answer to really get down to what the need is. Also wanted to include on our metric slide, Dr. Longshore's participation on the Teacher of the Year and the support related. We will be having a Goal 4 stock take coming up, and we'll be updating those. And I think Mr. Durrance attends those, and some other board members are going to attend those. Our heat map is the March. I actually put September 21st, but it's the May date. It hasn't changed since then. We have been pushing really hard on our initiatives. We did on our customer service, the B section, you will see that we slip back. And basically what we do in Goal 4 is we meet probably quarterly would be a good way to put it. But we really try to take a reflection and see what of the initiatives that we're trying to do, what have we not been able to move as far as we want to move it. So customer service, even though we've got the customer service mindset, we're trying to indoctrinate people, our staff, if you want to say that, but we really want to give them the tools to have that customer service mindset. But it's just been, what'd you say, Ms. Blackman, the COVID pause? The COVID pause, yeah. I don't know how long we'll be able to keep blaming things there. But anyway, that was just one area of all of our initiatives where we felt like we didn't get the traction we wanted. So we just wanted to be true to ourselves. And I mean, ideally, at the end of our strategic plan, all of our items would be completely green. But I don't think anything. There's always going to be growth, and there's going to be different kind of movements. So, any question about Goal 4? And if you have any questions about the survey links that I sent you, just feel free to ask. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Angelica Tinajero, Director of Finance. Goal 5 is actually Mr. Averett's. He wasn't able to be here today, so he asked me to present for him. And how do I use this clicker? Oh, got it. It's my first rodeo, sorry. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, so Goal 5, fiscal transparency. To be fiscally responsible, we must be transparent to the public, board, and staff on how public funds are spent. Communicating our budget in easy-to-understand language will be our priority. Developing strategies that create cost-saving measures are needed to ensure that as many dollars as possible flow directly into the classroom. Goal 5 consists of 5 strategies. A is provide a safe and secure school environment on every campus, and the lead is Mr. Leesburg. Strategy B is update, evaluate, prioritize our capital spending list. That's Mr. Averett and Frank Brown. Improve communication and efficiency of work order processing and completion. That's Mr. Brown from Facilities. D, implement creative cost-saving measures. That's Mr. Averett, Mrs. Robinson with Synergistic, and myself. And then E is increase communication and transparency about how money is spent, and that's Mr. Averett and Dr. Longshore. Our metrics indicate that we are making progress. One of our metrics is to maintain spending on instruction and instructional support functions between 80 and 85%, and it looks like we're at 91. That's a little hard to read. Our heat map, there hasn't been much change since April. If you notice, most of them are in amber green. And then here are the metrics for providing a safe and secure environment on every campus. They've implemented district safety plan at all the schools in the district office, And we're also practicing emergency procedures across the board. All of our hardening projects have been completed with the exception of the public address systems and the speaker systems that are currently in progress. And Centegix is currently being implemented as well. Our metrics for updating, evaluating, and prioritizing our capital spending list, pretty much our priority is to complete all board-approved projects. And then we also have our Citizens Advisory Committee that meets quarterly to make sure we're in compliance with our absent sales tax resolution. To improve our communication and efficiency of work order processing, we've decreased our outstanding work orders that were over 30 days. The first year was 30%, second year 40%, and the third year was 50%. Implementing creative cost-saving measures. Our first activity was to increase the visits at the clinic for cost avoidance, and we've saved approximately $1.6 million with the clinic. And then the synergistic program is saving us over $350,000 a year. And then to increase our communication and transparency about how money is being spent, Mr. Averett created our citizens budget report and our budget manual, and that's been posted on our website. And we also have our annual financial reports and our annual budgets posted on there as well. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank all the goal leads. Thank you, Angelica, for stepping in for Mr. Averett as well. I think that anyone stepping in different roles should be congratulated. For the heat maps, let me talk. Sorry, it dropped. For the heat maps, let me talk about them. Usually we're always our worst critics, and you didn't see a whole lot of green on the heat maps. And usually our conversation goes like this: as the different teams are meeting, is we think that you're honestly being too hard on yourselves. But we are very critical of ourselves and our different teams, and we really strive to be the best. So I think that you'd see the reflection of that on the scores, but there is tremendous work that is going on behind the scenes. Board members, I just want to thank you for being our active partners in this. That makes a huge difference, and I know that for the goal that I'm usually on, Mrs. Howerton is on that goal. It just makes a huge difference as far as communication and partnership with it. So just wanted to thank each one of you guys for that as well. These are active plans. They're not something that ends up sitting on the shelf. Usually with different school improvement plans or different plans from the past, that would have been my experience. You end up spending hours creating it, and then it collects dust. These are active that we are meeting often to say, okay, we said these things were important. We said we were going to improve these different areas. Now, how's that going? And that just makes a huge difference for us. And just meeting often, going over data, and figuring out how are we going to move that needle in these specific areas that we said were vitally important. We're working with the schools at this point, implementing this at each one of the school levels and really looking for continuity between the district and the schools. And so that's in its infancy stage. As we started ourselves at the district level, it took us a while to end up learning the process. So we're working hand in hand with the schools. I know Dr. Campbell, Mrs. Connor, Dr. Longshore are often out at different schools just assisting with their meetings, giving feedback on how things are going, and just really helping them along with this process. There's definitely a side of accountability with this. There's no doubt. As you're meeting every month and you have to report how you're doing in the different goals, there's accountability. But the thing that's refreshing to me in this is that there's also ways to celebrate and really recognize where you've done well. And at times you forget that, and I don't think that we are great about celebrating ourselves, but when you can look over the years or the periods of time to see, okay, look at how many things were implemented, look at the increase, and sometimes your gut says, okay, the metrics, there's no way the data is going to end up favorable. And then you end up looking at the data and it's, yes, you have grown in that specific area. So I think that that's crucial for the strategic planning. So any questions on stock take before we move on? All right, for the next announcement, we really want to congratulate Cracker Trail Elementary School. So for a year, we've heard a lot about the COVID slide and different struggles, and those struggles were real. But we had Cracker Trail end up receiving an A for their school grade, despite the conditions that were very problematic during the pandemic. We also want to extend congratulations to Park Elementary, Lake Country Elementary, and Hillgustat Middle School for receiving a grade of a B. And also congratulating Fred Wild, who is no longer on the lowest 300 for reading because they've really worked hard and they ended up improving their reading scores considerably. So just really wanted to recognize those schools for really going over and above and during a very problematic year and just showing tremendous success and resolve there. All right, we need to ask permission to add an emergency item to tonight's agenda, considering approval of Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company general release statement pursuant to the settlement agreement. Also, permission to revise attachments to 7A school improvement plans. As we end up talking about the stock take and our strategic plan being live documents, we really are looking at the school improvement plans being living documents as well that may be revised throughout the time periods. So once the plans are completed, access will be available on the Florida Continuous Improvement Management Systems website, and we added a link to SIMS to the SIP agenda item. And for the last announcement, there will be no executive session tonight that we're requesting, but we respectfully request one for the October 5th meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Lethbridge. At this time, we will move to adopt the agenda as revised on September the 15th and 16th, adding action items 12B through 12E, and adding an emergency item to consider approval of Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company general release pursuant to settlement agreement. You're looking for a motion with that.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Durrance and a second by Ms. Howerton. Is there any public comment? Back to the board. Any comment? Okay, we will do a roll call. Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Moving on to number 9, motion to approve consent agenda item as revised.
Move approval.
Second?
Thank you. We do have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Ms. Compton-Twist. Is there any public comment? Back to the board, any comment? We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. 10A is consider approval of superintendent's recommendation for personnel.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durrance. Is there any public comment? Back to the board. We will do a roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Consider approval of expulsions.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Compton-Twist and a second by Mr. Durrance. And at this time, we will do roll call. Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. We have 12A, consider approval of agreement between the School Board of Highlands County and ClassLink SLA.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durrance. Is there any public comment? Back to the board.
I would like for Mr. Layfield to come up and give us a brief synopsis of it, if he would not mind, please.
I'm sure he would love to.
Thank
I've
you.
never heard him not talk.
I said brief synopsis.
Glad Mr. Avertt's not here. He makes me keep it short in some meetings. I apologize I didn't call you guys and give you the heads up. I really haven't done that in a while, so it just didn't cross my mind, but I will make that in the future. Basically, ClassLink, it's multifaceted. You can read through there. You could also go to classlink.com. But it does do different things. The one big thing it does is it integrates with Skyward Student, and it takes Skyward Student data, teacher data, class enrollment, and it rosters and credentials us into different applications. Right now, we do use a free product called Clever to roster about maybe 35% of the applications that we use. The other pieces that we, that are not in Clever go, it's all kind of like homemade inside of Skyward. And it also, some of the applications are able to use Google. So we do send, you can get class data and student data and teacher data through Google. But basically where we're at right now is we're in just different places. And the time it's taking the MIS department to work with that data, to get it to work in the different applications, the investment in ClassLink, it will be a nice return on investment. Specifically, Barbara Lancaster, who's the manager of the database, we have a couple programs where she spent hours, and I don't want to call them out because they are really good applications and we have to have them. But she spent hours just working with the vendor, trying to get this piece just right, this piece just right. And this company, this is what they do, is they work with the vendor and they work with our information system and they make those connections for us. I don't want to say that it's a flip of a switch or an easy button. There's still an amount of work. But the advantage is that they've already worked with Skyward districts and they've already worked with these vendors. So they've already figured out what those connections look like. So it's just a matter, that piece of the puzzle it's a time. The other piece is, I don't know if single sign-on has ever come up. It was a real hot topic a while back and we just kind of been rolling along. We do single sign-on, but we do single sign-on. So here's the catch. It's not a single sign-on. So we can sign into Google and get to an application. We can sign into Clever and get an application, or we can log into what's called LDAP, which is logging into our Active Directory Microsoft domain. So all of those are a single sign-on. It is a common username and a password, but it's not a true one place to go like a portal, and I see every one of my buttons and I can get to all my applications. That's kind of like, it would be a dream come true if we pull that off with ClassLink. We'll see if that happens, but we'll be closer than we are now. We're just really segmented. Another big piece, if you read through the application or the quote, is Analytics Plus. And what this company is able to do is to take all of our student traffic and all of our teacher traffic, and they have a plugin that goes into the Chrome browser, and we typically all use the Chrome browser. If you use a Chromebook, which our students do, that's all you get. And so basically with Analytics Plus, they are able to do 24/7, 365, where are the students going on the Chromebooks, which applications are they using, down to the level of time on task. Are the students in a classroom, or even if they have homework, are they staying in these applications? And eventually we could tie that back to teaching and learning and performance. So the Analytics Plus is another big piece. So ClassLink, single sign-on, one button, get me there. Analytics Plus, where are students going? We will be looking at teacher traffic. It's not like a nana voodoo. We don't catch people shopping on eBay. Just the things that we're investing heavily in these applications. You see the money. You see Mr. Averett talk about what he's put into half-cent sales tax. We want to use this application to help us gauge that return on investment. And if there's something that that's not performing, we want to take that off. You've seen me come to you, we've taken away different, I don't want to say the names of the ones we've taken away, just especially while we're recording or whatever, but we are doing our due diligence on these applications, and that's what this is. It's a tool. That piece of it is to help us because we don't have the manpower to do it, and the technology can do it. The third piece is really exciting. We already have an application that makes student accounts. So when a student enrolls at a school, that student account is made on our LDAP Microsoft server, and that LDAP Microsoft server talks to Google, and they automatically get a Google account. You had a Google issue earlier, so Mr. Jones talked to the LDAP server, but it didn't talk to Google. So all these accounts are talking. So the student piece is rocking and rolling. So the student account gets made, it goes to Google, a password is created, everything's hunky-dory. We don't have that at all in staff. We have never had it on the staff side. So what we're hoping to do, Ms. Ball still, Dr. Ball still here? So what we're hoping to do is to, when we make a staff account, then we want to automatically make that at the entry level. And then that basically someone will go in and go, okay, this person needs to do whatever role you're going to serve. A human will go in and go, okay, you're going to do this role. Here's your rights to this, this, and this. But the actual creation of that, right now, it's literally a spreadsheet. And I have people in my office that check the spreadsheet, and we make the account. And Dr. Ball has a lot of little pieces, and Andrew can tell you because he was over there, from certification to fingerprinting and background checks and different things like that. So basically, it's a waiting process. And this is what happens in August. I just got a new teacher and they need to log in, or I got a new AP and they need to log in. So with this automated piece, we're hoping to take out some of that manual touch and create those staff accounts. So as you read through that and you see those different pieces, the ClassLink, the Analytics Plus, and then that, I'm not sure how they refer to it, account, I think they do say account creation, but that's the three big pieces. Another thing I want to point out is this is a long time, and we were scouring it for the dates, and I apologize that the dates weren't obvious. It speaks in years. So it's year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So what we're doing is we're making a prorated payment from now to June 30th, which is a half a year. And then year 1 actually starts 7/1 of 2022. So do the math on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the amount of money, I guess I can say it's $128,000. It's in, everybody can see it if they pull down the agenda. But just the dollars to the amount of time we're going to have the product and make it work for us, it's a really good investment for us. So, sorry.
Thank you.
I hope you didn't want a short one.
It makes it.
I wanted to cover
Brief
it.
enough,
No.
that's good.
It makes
I
it
feel like
come
you wanted
together
to
a lot
know.
better, because I was
Yeah.
reading through it.
Yeah,
and
I know, and
when
I
you don't have the
apologize, and I
backgrounds for it,
will make a point to
Although the diagram was very helpful.
give you a heads up.
So,
Oh,
thank
okay.
you.
You good to go?
Yes.
That was great,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Any other board comments or questions? We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. 12B is request approval of non-disclosure agreement between the School Board of Highlands County and the employer Direct Healthcare LLX, which is Surgery Plus.
If I could intervene before we
sir.
have a motion. I think 12B, C, and D are all pretty much related.
Yes, sir.
So what this is about is the board wanted an audit through of the Surgery Plus healthcare clinic.
Is it called Surgery Plus?
Maybe it is. That's not
Yeah,
healthcare.
Surgery
We
Plus
do
is,
surgery there.
One that.
Surgery
What
Plus
we call
is-
that app or something we used to try to find.
Yeah,
Maybe
Surgery
that's what
Plus
it
is where you
is.
can go, like what you.
Yes, with surgeries.
Okay.
I was
Yes.
reading too fast.
That's okay.
That's
That's
one
okay.
where we go to Winter Haven or something.
I'm
in
trying to-
conjunction with them, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like when I had my hip
Yeah,
replacement, I
that's
went
right.
through Surgery
That's
Plus.
right, that's
Yeah.
right. But I'll just group all that together as part of our healthcare clinic stuff.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. But the bottom line is this, we've requested the audit. They said, look, we'll give you the information on the audit, but not until you sign all those releases and everything and agree to hold us harmless from anything that you might do or that Cyber might do, our consultant. So they're saying we're holding Cyber our school board is also holding the Blue Cross harmless for anything cyber might do. So just so you know, there's a lot of things in here that are interesting. 12B has our standard addendum, which I think it puts everything back where it needs to be. 12C does not have the addendum. 12D does not have the addendum, and we're not going to get the addendum from these entities because they're saying, look, you want the information? Here's the deal. Sign this or you don't get it. So that's where we're at with these two, okay? Bottom line is they're all together. I don't know what else I can say about it. We do hold them harmless. We agree to release them. Just give us the information, please. We promise we'll be good and not spread it around anywhere it shouldn't be. And if we do, we'll pay for it. Okay, that's really what it comes down to.
This doesn't have anything to do with the audit we requested from urgent care.
From the clinic itself?
Yes.
Pharmacy and
No,
stuff?
okay.
No, it's different.
No, this
Yeah,
is and I apologize for mistaking
Okay, I just
about
wanted
that. No, this is part of the information, though. If we're going to be able to audit them properly, we have to release this. The other entities that we're doing business with. Optimum RX, for instance, they're Optum RX, I think they're the drivers of 12C. Blue Cross Blue Shield, they're drivers of 12D.
The audits for the Blue Cross, it's pretty standard. We do
Yeah.
those on
Okay.
a regular basis. This is the first time that we've done an audit for Surgery Plus. And so it has grown very quickly. It's become a very popular program, and we have spent a lot of money there. So it is wise, I think, at this
Oh,
point
yeah.
for us to make sure that we do an audit, for them.
No, I agree.
I totally agree.
So,
That's what I was wondering.
I'm giving you an overall synopsis of B, C, and D. I think you can approve B, C, and D as one, because the considerations are all
All
the
together?
same.
Okay. Well, I will read each one of them.
Sure.
Does that work? Okay, 12B, I'll read it again. Request approval of disclosure agreement between the School Board of Highlands County.
You say
and-
non-disclosure?
Oh, non-disclosure, I'm sorry.
Little word.
Thank you. We're all having word problems tonight. And the Employer Direct Healthcare LLX Surgery Plus. 12C, request approval of non-disclosure agreement between the School Board of Highlands County and Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, Blue Cross Blue Shield Plans, Optimum RX Inc., and Silver Insurance Consultant, which is the pharmacy. And 12D is request approval of non-disclosure agreement between the School Board of Highlands County and Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, Blue Shield Plans, and Silver Insurance Consultant.
That's actually cyber insurance. They're our consultants that come here on occasion
okay,
and
thank
give
you.
briefs to us. Yes, ma'am.
And I guess we are looking for a motion for all three, one motion for all three.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durance. Is there anyone who understands what we just did? Would you like to make a comment on it? Back to the board. Did you want to say something? Oh, yeah, I did.
It got a little confusing.
Would you like to come? Are you good?
That's
It's up to
because-
you. Okay, it's up to you.
Well, no questions, right?
Yeah,
No questions.
it's up to
Questions
you.
you can ask.
Okay. Any board comments or questions? Then we will do the roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. 12E is consider approval of settlement for matter Jane Doe, number 6 versus School Board of Highlands County, Florida, case number 19-CV-14487, U.S. District Court, Southern District of Florida, Fort Pierce Division.
Yes, ma'am, that's mine too, I'm sure. The school board received an additional complaint some while back regarding another complainant for sexual assault at the daycare center at the Lake Country Elementary. You might recall we had the 5 previous cases. This is Jane Doe number 6. Been through a lot of negotiation in this matter through Alan Sang, our scrimp attorney. They've been very good about discovery, back and forth. They've had some preliminary motions in the federal district court. This is federal court, not state court. And an analysis of various cases of this nature. These sexual assault cases are going pretty expensively. Anywhere from $800,000 to $1.3 million is the kind of the range that settlements have been in, or verdicts. They were holding out for a much higher amount, but Mr. Sang has finally gotten them to agree to accept $800,000, but that's subject to board approval. The settlement would be $600,000 from the board, and the other $200,000 would come from our scrimp coverage. We're limited, of course, to the under the policy as they then existed. We now have coverage, more coverage, but at that time we didn't, and because of the federal court issue. So tonight we're asking for the board's approval for the settlement agreement, which would be the $600,000 amount. If the board accepts it and the scrimp approves the $200,000 amount, then the plaintiffs have agreed to settle the case, and it would be over. So, with the known result and the known amount, which is a big plus, because when you go to a jury, you have no earthly idea what they're going to come back with. You might recall that what we actually settled the last case for was considerably less than what the jury verdict was. And so I would expect this to fall in the same category.
Thank you.
Move approval.
A second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durrance. We will do roll call.
Public comment.
My,
I don't think we have public on that one, do we?
mine says no public comment.
Does it? I would think this would require public comment.
Okay. Well, public comment? No.
Okay.
Back to the board for comment?
Just adding, we could also incur expenses of attorney fees on top of
Oh, certainly.
those, so that
Et
could
cetera, et cetera.
skyrocket. So-
Goes on and on. I can assure you from this $800,000, the attorneys are getting a pretty good lick.
Yeah, I'm sure. Did you have, oh, okay. We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Move on to action policies, and looking for a motion to approve the revisions of 13A through 13D and advise for adoption. And Mr. Clerk, it has your name next to it.
Yes, ma'am. This is policy time. These all center around the same thing, pretty much. As you know, the board has to approve as a rule any new job description. And these are all for job descriptions. They're all pretty much dealing with the communication facilitator job descriptions, as well as educational interpreter. The report on development means we've advertised them in the paper already. And all you get to approve is the minimum qualifications part. You cannot approve the other aspects of the job description, as you know. But these minimum qualifications constitute a rule, so they have to be developed as a rule, meaning we go through the whole rule development, and that's where we're at now. We're at the second phase. We've given consent to develop these, we've advertised it. Now you're gonna look at this, another hearing, our opportunity for people to comment, and then finally we'll go on up to the final approval at a future meeting. But each one of these are dealing with educational requirements, minimum physical requirements, and minimum qualifications. In particular, the educational interpreter, 1, 2, and 3, all that means is, you have this performance assessment, education type thing, that there are different levels that you can qualify for. And so 1 is a lower level, 2 is a higher level, 3 is the highest level, more education for each one, high school and college degree, or at least a community college degree on up. So that's pretty much what I have. That's the synopsis. Can you confirm advertisement? Yes, sir. Okay, so the rule's been advertised, and I think the next thing you're looking for is a motion and a public comment.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durance. Is there any public comment? Back to the board, any comment?
There was a motion for all four of them?
13A through
Okay.
13D. Yes, ma'am.
I was just checking.
Yes.
Okay. We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. We have 14A, consider approval of transfer applications previously denied by the Assistant Superintendents of Student Support Services.
We have parents of Jalen Sandquist.
Yes, sir, if you would come up, please.
Wait a second.
Wait, he's here.
No, that's the second one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Are you here for Tyler? Yes.
Yes, sir, if you'd come up, please, and state your name for us. And just like to remind you that we are live with Facebook, so any information you may want to think about, just letting you know.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dennis Lexa. I am the father of Tyler Board Lexa, and I am here to appeal on his behalf the denial of his hardship variance. We were informed that his variance was denied due to no room at either Sebring Middle or Avon Park Middle School. His request for changing schools is he is having difficulty with other students at the school he's attending. It's a battle almost every day to get him to go to school. There are days that I physically have to put him in my car and take him to school to be sure that he goes. He's somewhat depressed. He feels that unwelcome at the school by other students, and he even said to me some of his teachers, he feels that as if he's not welcomed. I requested his guidance counselor, Ms. Perez, to look into it and see if she can have a sit-down with him and possibly that he could open up to her and reveal to him some of his feelings, which he did. And she got back to me via phone call and email and shared with me that that's what he told her, is that he feels a change of environment would be better for him. And I can concur with that assessment that a change of schools might be better. The reason for the denial, from my understanding, is that, again, there's no rooms at the school. So the question that comes to my mind is if another student moves into the zone, if there's no room for my child, how could there be room for another child who's moving into the zone?
Well, if
Okay.
they're zoned to that school, that's,
Yeah, but that's, see, I mean, you
well,
know.
that's.
I mean, if it's
that's-
overcrowded,
that's
it's,
how you have to
if
do
it's
it, though.
overcrowded, it's overcrowded.
Yes, sir, but if they're zoned for that school, then we have to fit them in
Okay.
there, but just so you know.
But
there's no
anyways,
choice.
today I received a phone call from Ms. Parks, the assistant principal at Hillgustat Middle School, and she informed me that there was an incident involving my son Tyler and another student. It became very physical, and he did receive several blows to his face, as did the other child. So I sincerely hope that with the kindness of your hearts, that you would look upon favorably of overturning the denial and allowing Tyler to transfer to another school. I am aware that change of environment may not work. I mean, you know, the grass is not always greener on the other side of that fence. It's sometimes full of the same crabgrass. But I think at this time, a change of environment might be best for my child. So I'm hoping that, again, with your grace and your mercy, you might see it in your hearts to grant his request for a variance. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any questions, by the way? I'm sorry.
No. I had a question for Ms. Blackman. I'm always trying to read this chart.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at the chart as well right now.
So at Avon Park Middle, I'm seeing, I'm trying to make my eyes go across here.
We're two over, is what it says.
Right,
Two
that's what I've
over,
seen.
but
And we're at 13 spots at Hillgustat, is what it says in this picture.
with open seats? Is that what I'm
Looks like
seeing?
13 open.
Which is unusual. Hillgustat's usually.
I know, that's what I
crowded,
was
so, yeah.
thinking, that I was surprised in seeing that.
That's correct.
But we don't really know where we would be at the seventh grade level.
That's correct.
If you would please come up, thank you. And just state your name.
Melissa Blackman, Student Support Services. So that's correct. At the secondary level, because the courses aren't always grade level pure, that we can give you the capacity for the school that's a little bit different than at the grade level at the elementary. That's correct.
I'm going to make a motion to approve this. Just, I want to see if we can make a difference for this student and Krista and Julia.
Okay.
I'll second that as well. It just sounds like a lot of problems, and don't know if it changes anything will fix it, but
Just got to realize that if there is problems, that this can be reversed, that you would have to provide transportation. You know, this is a privilege then to, if it were to go through, you know.
Hopefully, we're going to have to provide transportation to and from school.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We're not done yet?
No, we're not done yet.
Okay.
We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durrance. Mr. Clerk, I have a no public comment on this also, is that correct?
That's no public comment on these.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. We will do a roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
No.
And the chair votes yes. 14B, consider approval of out-of-state travel for Lake Placid High School student government, Arlington, Tennessee, October 21st through October the 25th, 2021.
Don't have anybody here to speak on that? Move
There
approval.
are. Did you,
Great
is that
opportunity,
approval on
yeah.
your, okay, a motion, okay.
I move to approve.
Okay.
Second?
I'm sorry, did you
Sorry.
say?
It's a little bit-
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Ms. Compton Twist. Is there any public comment? Back to the board, any comment? We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. 14C is consider approval of out-of-state travel for Avon Park High School chorus, New York City, March 25th through the 29th of 2022. And it is in the indication of what we heard this afternoon, or this evening, they will be greatly received if the board so pleases.
Move approval. That's a great opportunity for our students, so.
I'll second.
Glad we're getting to do this.
Going
Yeah.
back, this was like the very first thing that started the pandemic for us. And we
yeah.
approved this, and then we had to unapprove it because
Yeah.
of some of the things going on. New York City was the
Both late.
basis of this, and we hadn't even seen any of this yet locally, but yeah, very powerful.
Very
I'd never thought in a million years we'd still be in this position, but here we are. so.
Here we are. But moving on.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durrance. Is there any public comments or anything you want to add to what we heard tonight?
I have lots of data about protocols that are in place if you're nervous about the pandemic, but
It'll be fine.
if you have questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you. Any public or board comment?
No, we're excited for you.
We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Consider approval of out-of-state travel for Avon Park High School FFA chapter members to attend the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana on October the 27th through the 30th, 2021. And y'all been here all evening, so I hope you want to come up and say something.
Share a little bit.
This is Avon Park night.
Good evening. My name is Shelby Ball, if you don't know who I am. I have with me Reagan Richards and Addie
Thank you.
Ferguson. They are my vice president and president of the Avon Park Senior FFA chapter. Reagan is just passing out the one-pager that we made to hand out to community stakeholders at our yearly ag meeting in August. So please enjoy that. That just has some of the highlights from our last year. We are super excited and really hitting the ground running this year. And I appreciate the opportunity to take just a few minutes to share that with you as we move forward with this approval for our trip. We are hopefully taking 5 students to Indianapolis in October. One of them being Addie Ferguson, holding all of her awards here at State Convention. She won the discussion meet, which this is the second time that this contest has happened. And so we are very proud of her for her first place win in that discussion meet. And she's also a state winner for her agri-science fair project. And and we are anxiously waiting results. She had her online interview last Friday. And so we will hear those results of whether or not she made the top 3 on October 1st, but we are hoping that we will be on stage in October. So fingers crossed for that. But we've got some fun things planned for ND. We will be touring an apple orchard operation, and they're taking me to my first rodeo. So we are excited about the opportunities there. We're also going to be visiting a garden center that helps at-risk youth. So we are looking forward to that and how they help their community solve hunger in their local area. So lots of good opportunities to be had in Indianapolis. We are excited to go back after 2 long years. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Move for approval.
Second. Great opportunity. Thank you. It was amazing, all
Thank
the
you.
opportunities.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Durrance and a second by Ms. Howerton. Is there any public comment? Yes, sir? Please, right. Please come up to the microphone and state your name.
Larry Overfield, proud resident of Highlands County, property owner, and of course, taxpayer. I just want to say, I think this is great that we encourage our young people to do this kind of thing. And I hope you have fun at the rodeo. It's going to be great. My wife is hooked on bull riding. She watches this on YouTube all the time. She wants me to take her to a rodeo. I'm afraid she'd fall in love with one of the bull riders, so she's not going to rodeo. But I just want to say I'm encouraged by this. Congratulations on first place, and go for it.
All right, just
I have
you
public-
probably went to this convention back.
I did. I went my senior year. 3 of us went with a teacher, and we had a great time. I've taken students. This would be my 3rd year taking students, and every year I get so excited. I'm really excited this year. I'm also a National FFA Teacher Ambassador, and so I've been one for the last 2 years, but have yet to be able to actually connect in person with any of my fellow ambassadors. And so we will get to do that a little bit at convention, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So the students are taking a lot of opportunities at that convention, but I'm also getting a lot of professional development, and I appreciate that opportunity. So,
So you young ladies can come back and be an ag teacher for
Yes.
I would just like to state, as a graduate long ago, Avon Park High School, I note that the really interesting things on tonight's agenda deal with Avon Park, no less. And we've been awed by the unbelievable harmonies of the show choir and Center of New York show off talents. And I'm just very proud tonight to be able to tell you about that. Way to go, ladies. And I just think you're going to dazzle the world when you hit Indianapolis.
Yes.
And that might be your first rodeo too, but the rest of us always say that's not my first rodeo. Thank you.
Any other board comments?
Kind of partial to mutton busting. I don't know if they have that there or not, but it's always fun to watch.
Well, I'm from Arcadia. Do I need to say more? Right. Okay, we will do roll call. Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. And I will say, I was watching your mother's face, and she is one proud mother out there, so.
probably my mama and my principal. She's also very
Right.
proud. So
That's true.
They're probably looking like the same.
Good work, Mama.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. 15A is consider approval to award contract of installation of water cooler bottles, filling stations to CS Waterworks, Inc., SBHC 2122-02.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Ms. Compton Twist. Is there any public comment? Where do all the Avon Park people go? Any public comment? Back to the board. We'll do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Durrance?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. 15B is consider approval to award contract for purchase of water cooler bottle filling stations to Hughes Supply SBHC 2122 2022-01, and I was saying earlier that I felt like those two should have been flipped. We should have approved to purchase them first and then to install them, but this is how it was on the agenda, so.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Compton Twist and a second by Mr. Durance. Is there any public comment? Back to the board. I would just say, from talking to different people, I think this will be very welcomed in the schools to have the water system. Roll call, Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Durance?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. And we do have an emergency item, number 16, consider approval of Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company general release pursuant to settlement agreement.
I'll address that if I could,
Yes, sir.
please. At the last board meeting, you might recall, the board did approve a settlement with Cigna regarding litigation we had pending with them. Now they have said, okay, we're gonna pay you what we agreed to pay, but we want you to give us this release first, just to make sure that everybody's happy and you're not gonna come after us for any of this stuff. I noted they did specifically address the two items that Mr. Lethbridge and company were complaining most loudly about. And I think they were quite concerned that might be something that needed to be cleared up a little more, so they asked us to sign this release. There's also an indemnification in it, but the indemnification is just for anything, if anybody brings any suit against them for these other two things we're releasing, we'd be the only ones to do that, so I don't see that happening, frankly. But it is my opinion that the board needs to approve that because it does contain the release and the hold harmless indemnification provision. So that's why I asked to be placed on tonight's agenda, so we could get this paid up and settled out.
Very good. Thank you.
Move approval.
A second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Howerton and a second by Mr. Durance. Is there any public comment? Back to the board. Mr. Clerk, appreciate your clarification of everything.
Yes, ma'am.
We will do roll call. Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Durance?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Do we have any legislative issues or planning zoning? HCEA, HCESPA member comments? You're all good? Okay, thank you. School board attorney comments?
Yes, ma'am, I have several matters to address tonight.
Yes, sir.
The first thing I'd like to address is for October 19th, Mr. Steve Mayer has agreed to come and present to the board on the issue of joining the Juul vaping litigation. That would be a presentation that I expect he would make during the course of the regular board meeting, perhaps even during the superintendent's comment section. He has a very concise video, and it explains to the board quite fully what the issue is all about, and he would be here in person to answer any questions that you might have. You might recall that several meetings back, you had asked me to explore this and to determine counsel. There are lots of lawyers, a lot of people pursuing this. Mr. Mayor seems to be, to me, the best fit for our size county, what we're doing. I think I mentioned to you that he's representing Palm Beach County as one of only 4 counties in the entire United States in a test case before San Francisco, to where all the issues are joined together, and the judge, I expect after this case is tried and determined, we will then know a great deal nationwide about the viability of all this litigation. So that's why it's consolidation of various districts, bottom line. Mr. Mayor would provide to us his fee agreement and other matters. So one thing I want to inquire of the board is, when he is here, is it your desire that I get all of these materials ahead of time, the fee agreement and that sort of thing, so you could examine all of that prior to the meeting and potentially have it as an action item on the October 19th agenda? Alternatively, he can come and present on the October 19th agenda, and we can put it on the subsequent agenda, the consideration for whether or not to approve joinder in the litigation. So I need your input as to which you would prefer for that.
Any comments from the board?
I mean, how much material are you talking about?
Well, I'm only talking about essentially the fee agreement, and he will send us a thumb drive or an email with the PowerPoint on it that he's gonna talk
Okay.
about. Those, I could provide those two things to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be,
fine.
yeah, we
That'd
get
be
them
good.
ahead of time.
And then if you get ahead of, that's what I'm saying,
Yes,
get ahead
sir.
of time.
Yes.
So you can absorb what it's about, and then.
How many
Very much.
questions we might
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Right, and then put it on the same agenda for, so, okay, if you're good with that, I'll proceed along
I
those
think it'd be
lines.
nice to do it while he's here, and that way we have any questions, we can
I was
address
thinking that too.
Yes,
That's why I brought it up. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Okay, another issue we have is our playground down the street. I don't know how many of you even know we have such a thing down here. I say we loosely. There is a playground down there, along with the basketball courts and the softball field, that is all in that general area. The lease that the county has for that is just for a small area for the basketball court and then the softball field. In between the two, there is a playground that's located with some aging and deteriorating equipment. So I think it's even closed off right now because of the concerns of safety. That is not completely within anyway, the leased area. Nobody knows how the playground equipment got there. The county won't say they did it. I'm sure we didn't do it, school district anyway. So the issue is, okay, what do we do now with this equipment? The county's saying, no, we're not interested in it, which kind of surprised me because I would think a public park in that area would be appropriate for the county to maintain. And I'm not saying that that is their final position. That's simply their first position positive at this point. There's been an inquiry as to whether or not we would be interested in either selling or leasing the entire area back there, I think. I don't even know what all they're talking about or what that would encompass. There's no action needed right now. I just bring it up to you in case you hear about it or somebody calls you and says, okay, what's going on over here, okay? I say we, the staff and I, we're not sure what's going on yet either. We're still in negotiation, but just a heads up, okay? That's gonna be coming. I'll also note for you that many school districts are revising their public comment rules. I don't know that we necessarily need to address that at this point. I really don't think we have an issue with excessive public comments. The coastal areas, the large populated areas, seem to have a large group that wants to make this a public forum for things that aren't related to school board business. So those are the issues we're having. So talking about limiting the time, if you're associated with a group, just one speaker, non-televised comments, et cetera, et cetera. I only bring that up to let you know the tool is there, but I'm certainly not suggesting we implement anything like that here at this point, because I think we have a very well-behaved public comment group. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Let's see. We talked about statewide solicitation to add the vehicles to the thing. I think that's important. A lot of private schools too might benefit from that. So that's interesting. And I didn't put that in here, but I thought about that today when I got an email that had an issue with the private schools and the state discretionary surtax. So I bring that up only because I think it might gain more traction if, with these other 30 counties, if that were out there. Just a thought. I'll mention, or maybe if you talk to Brenda, you could mention that because she's at the place now where that is an issue. I'll update you briefly, although I certainly hope I don't make the paper again on this. But this is the mask litigation update. I will tell you that the governor's office, or the state through the governor's office, I suppose, what has happened is this, as a background, we have several counties, I think Broward, Alachua, Orange, Miami-Dade, and Leon have all brought motions with to challenge this mask thing. And so they've challenged the rulemaking by the Department of Health. Now that's different from a lawsuit, okay? When you're doing rulemaking, you're going to the Department of Administrative Hearings, When you have a lawsuit, you're going into the court system, two different places, okay? So these are challenges to the Department of Health's rulemaking. It's gone to the Department of Administrative Hearings. There's been a challenge by the governor saying that school boards have no legal authority to challenge this rule because they're public officials. And if you're a public official, you don't have standing to challenge a law. You know, you can't say that law is unconstitutional, you can't do that, legislature, because you're a public official. An individual could, but you cannot, as a public official, challenge it. Even if you don't like it, you can't challenge it. And so the governor and the state apparently are bringing up this as a defense or move to dismiss. Interestingly, that had gone before the Department of Administrative Hearings judge, and he basically said, no, we do this all the time here at Department of Administrative Hearings. This is not the same as challenging the constitutionality of a law. This is the ability of an agency to conduct rulemaking, which is a different thing than constitutionality of a legislative mandate. So that's where things stand. There's a hearing on Friday, I think, coming up, and so we'll see what happens at that hearing.
Friday, we may hear something.
Yes, we
Yeah.
may. All these cases have been consolidated. He's doing it all at once, and same issue, same rules. So Friday we'll know a lot more. Just heads up, that's all. Watch the news. And the final thing I have is, interestingly, my colleagues have informed us that I think we're losing 4, if not more, major school board attorneys, in my eyes anyway, coming up in the next couple of months. So it's a lot of people aging out, getting out as quick as they can, it sounds like. I don't know, but there'll be some vacancies in some large counties for some new school board attorneys coming up. And that's good, I suppose. We have a lot of new talent that gets hired. You know, Miami-Dade, I don't know how many lawyers they got working for them. I know West Palm Beach got 13 or 14, and so these people get opportunities then to advance, and that's the way the world is. You know, you get the old guys out, new guys come up. But it's just there is a lot of change going on, and what I dislike about watching all this is I'm quickly becoming the grand old man of the group. Kind of scary with that.
We might be seeing you at some of our conferences in the legislative briefings.
Yes.
That the attorneys do. We might be.
Yeah.
Those types of things go to the big boys,
Well,
not the little
you
guys.
know, you never know. We look at you that way.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Big dust.
Yes, thank you.
Very important to us. Ms. Compton Twist?
I'm just grateful that we have people out in our audience. I was so happy to see some students here again. I know that everyone was happy, but man, what a great, great thing to have them. And that was such a joyful noise that came throughout our whole room this evening. It was wonderful. And to see the FFA students just fills my heart, so I'm happy. We might not even know what else went on today, but the students were here, and we're here for the students, so that fills us with joy. So.
Thank you. Mr. Durrance?
Just as we continue to lobby, I know we talked about the half-cent sales tax and getting the buses covered. Just don't lose sight of, I know we've talked a lot about the pension plan and coming back after the pension plan and having to sit out that full year. And, you know, I don't know if that's something that administrators have to do. It's not, I guess, but it's kind of a real strange loophole.
Yes, everyone.
You know, so just, you know, how can we get that? I know we really could have used everybody this year, you know, and I'm sure some people may have had an opportunity to come back, and we could figure out a way to do that. If there's some sort of legislation, that could be a sub, or they could do something, you know, let's just keep pushing that on the state level. And just, that's as outdated as FSA. So let's try to move on from that too.
Thank you. Ms. Howerton?
Just on that, Mr. Durrance, I think his name was Orr that was here the other night on behalf of Representative Tuck.
Yes.
I actually went out there and spoke to him on that because told him that we had contacted Representative Tuck along with Senator Albritton. And he acted like Kaylee was, I keep wanting to call her Kaylee, because she is kind of looking into that. So I do hope that it will be something we'll see in the upcoming session, because like you say, that is important. And like, it's kind of like our half cent, it'll be a win for the state of Florida.
Oh, without
On
doubt.
both this being added in the language for school buses, along with being able to bring back people that want to come back within that year. So, but, so it is being looked into, I'm heard, so that's a good thing. I also want to thank Highlands Virtual School on the students. Please tell them what a great job they did on their presentation tonight, along with, it was great when I looked up and saw kids walking in from Avon Park Choir, and they did awesome. I mean, I was just like in awe. I mean, I sing really good in the car, but but to not have any music behind you, I think Mr. McClure will say that takes talent to harmonize like they did, and it was beautiful.
Takes good instruction, too.
Yes, that's true. And I want to thank everybody that gave the updates on the state talk, I always want to do state talk.
I know.
But like Mr. Lethbridge said, I'm glad to see that we're doing something that we're staying on top of. And just like this FAFSA being changed, it's something that we'll have to go in with these committees, and we can kind of readdress some things. So I'm glad that we've got these groups out there. I did talk to Dr. Lethbridge about this. I just want to make the board aware of this, because we can't talk to each other, but I would like to maybe have possibly a workshop, and that was kind of his suggestion. We might do it in that set on the clinic renewal. I can't quite, I know we're kind of down to the crunch, but I did kind of request that audit, and was concerned about some things that came out of that audit, and my understanding is that I think we had them up for 5 years. This is their third year. We can do an automatic renewal, but I don't want to have a contract out there, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I want to change our contract, because I think that what we've requested in that contract can be done. So I'd like to see, I don't know, I'd just like to workshop it and talk out loud. I think we've been approached possibly for another clinic that would like to put a bid out there where we can see if they'll work under the contract like we're talking, and just, give the best to our faculty and that we've got out there as to our clinics. So would like to see that we have a workshop on that.
Very good.
And then also just kind of what we've been dealing in this, and I know that we're not where we can do our wellness checks within our clinics, but I do want to encourage our faculty to go get their wellness checks, because I think if we can stay on top of things, and go, just because we're in a pandemic, this is what I'm hearing out there. I mean, people aren't getting their immunization shots that they should, and then we're gonna, be looking at, so we can kind of stay on top of our claims, but somehow maybe send a message out to our faculty on that. And just want to say that, Mr. Lethbridge, you did a very good job tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. McClure, for all that you do in staying on top of things. All right, that's it.
A lot of stuff has been mentioned. Avon Park Chorus, I was watching their instructor, Ms. Loomis, during it, and she had her eyes closed and just was taking it all in, and I thought, oh, I wish I could do that, because then you could really just focus on what you're hearing, but I didn't think that was a very good idea. But, and also all the stock take presentations, thank you to everyone. And Ms. McClure, I was going to also thank you for everything that you do for us. We deeply appreciate your input, so thank you. And we hope the bigger places where people are retiring don't come after you.
I don't think there's any danger of that at
Well,
all.
well, we want to keep you, so, but we do appreciate everything you do. And also, Mr. Lethbridge, same thing, good job. And then, once again, I just want everyone to continue praying for the families out there who are losing loved ones. I think about the people that I know that are passing through COVID, and how many more that don't know. And so just keep everyone in your prayers, and everyone stay safe. And at this time, we will call this meeting adjourned.
Talking to Cyber.